So we are in lesson number 2 of our verb collocation series, and today we are going to study that most confusing pair of verbs in English, do and make. If you want to see the first lesson, which was on have and take, then go and check out my channel and don't forget to hit those subscribe and like buttons. Do and make are commonly confused among learners because many languages have just one verb to express the action. However, many languages also have other multiple verbs where there is only one in English. In Spanish, know is a good example because it has two verbs for this, saber and conocer, and it's not good to confuse them. Well, it's the same with these two verbs in English, so let's try to make some sense of them. Have a look at these. Which nouns are collocated with do and which with make? Pause the video and try to figure these out. Have you figured them out yet? Well, let's take a look. So under do we have business. It was a pleasure doing business with you. Kids have to do their homework after school. Note that homework is a non-countable noun. You cannot say homeworks, ever. Can you do me a favor, please? By the way, in North American English, they often say solid instead of favor. I don't use it, but I like it for some reason, so feel free to use it, though it is not said in British English. The storm did a lot of damage. It's good for your health to do exercise. I normally do my laundry on Saturdays. So which ones fall under make? Well, the first one is fuss. This is a useful expression to know if you are an advanced speaker. It can have different meanings in different contexts. One is a positive one. For example, if you go for a spa treatment and they treat you like a VIP, you can say they make a fuss over you. Another can have a different meaning. It can mean to complain in a very public way. For example, if someone is in a restaurant and they are not happy with the service and decide to make a complaint known to the staff and everyone around, you can say that person is making a fuss. The next one is mistake. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I thought your name was whatever. We can make money and make a profit. This is very commonly used instead of earn. I don't make much money doing YouTube videos unless you hit that subscribe button. I think this one is easy enough. We need to make a decision about whatever soon. Notice the preposition about here, but we can also use on. Always remember to make notes of the prepositions that I use. Can you excuse me a minute? I need to make a call. This is different to take a call. Remember from the collocations with take, if you have seen that lesson. Make a choice is similar to make a decision. Of course, in both these, we can simply use the verbs decide and choose in many contexts, and there would be no need for a collocation. We can say to make a deal or to do a deal. It depends on the context a little, but it doesn't really matter which one you use. Shall we have a look at some more with do and make, because they are very common. Have a look at these then and try to group them. Pause the video for a moment. So let's see if you got them all correct. We can do a course. Maybe you are doing an English course. We also do a report. My boss asked me to do a report on sales for the month. We could also use prepare instead of do here. I do the shopping every Saturday, just after I do the laundry. How's your mother doing after her surgery? Oh, she's doing very well, thank you. This is one few of my students know how to say in English, because in Spanish it is a verb, not in English. TV presenters spend a lot of time doing their makeup. Makeup is not a verb, maquillarse, in English, but it is in Spanish. We do sport to keep healthy. We can also say to play sport. Do not say practice sport. It's not quite right. It is right in some contexts, but in a general context, no. Use do. Now let's have a look at which of these collocate with make. Most house chores use do as the verb, but this is an exception. We make our beds in the morning. If you give money to a charity, then you are making a donation. You need to make an effort to learn a new language. The health system has an app where you can make an appointment with your doctor. Do not say date. We do not make dates with our doctors unless we are involved with them romantically. We make people do things such as laugh, cry, sad, angry, happy, lots of those adjectives. My son makes me laugh a lot. When preparing food, we use make. I never make dinner at the weekends. I go out instead. I'm going to make myself a sandwich after this lesson. One other thing before we leave this lesson, never use do or make with photo or question. These are two common errors. We take photos and ask questions, so try not to make these mistakes. Now coming up is the extra learning section where I discuss other aspects of the language that are related to things discussed in this lesson. So make sure to continue watching and please don't forget to hit those buttons. So now we are going to study other language matters related to the language I used in the lesson. The first item is actually related to collocations though, and that is make sense. This is how we say it. That makes sense. You're not making any sense, or it makes no sense. Do not use have here as the collocation verb, and there are no articles. To figure out is a very commonly used phrasal verb. Phrasal verbs are difficult, so it's best to learn them slowly and focusing on the most common ones, and this is one of them. This one can be used in a wide variety of contexts, which is why it is so useful. It can mean to solve a problem. My phone isn't accepting messages. When I have some time later, I will try to figure out why. It can also mean to understand someone's character. I've known Jose for many years, but I can't figure him out. Notice the position of the pronoun here. It must go between the verb and the preposition. She needs to figure out for herself which university to go to, as it's a big decision in her life. To make a complaint. This one is commonly mistaken by my students and often confused with words like claim and complain. We cannot use claim here at all, And complain is the verb only. You must add the T to make the noun complaint. I want to make a complaint to the manager. But you also express this in the same way with just the verb. I want to complain to the manager. We make or earn money when we have to work for it or we invest it. In Spanish, you use ganar, which is also translated as win. But in English, we only win money if we play the lottery or place a bet, etc. Did you notice the verb collocation, place a bet? We cannot win money for work we do or when we invest. Now this one is for advanced speakers only. We can put make and do together into a verb to make do. Yes, it really does exist. And the meaning is quite tricky to explain. But it means when something is sufficient. It's not ideal, but it will do for the moment. So for example, if you're going out for the night and you only have 10 euro or you don't have much money, you can say, I'll make do with 10 euro. I'd like to have 50 euro or 100 euro, but I can survive and I will be okay with 10 euro. If you haven't had time to go shopping and you're at home and there isn't a lot to eat, but there's enough, maybe there's pasta, you say, well, I'll make do with this pasta. I would like to eat more or eat something else, but I will make do with this because I don't want to go out to the shops. So make do means when something is sufficient. It's not ideal, we would like more of it or we would like it to be better, but it will be sufficient. We will make do with it. So that's it for now. See you in the next lesson.